These are this year's my 7 go-to tools for woodworking, in no particular order. Let's dive in. The pocket hole jig. You see, whether assembling a dining room table, a coffee table, a cabinet, or even a trundle bed, the pocket hole has changed the way I build things. You see, it allows me to do a butt joint and hold it together while the glue sets up, and even for added strength. Pocket hole jig comes with a drill bit that allows you to drill that particular depth and size and angle hole. Then you use the screws that come with the pocket hole, or you can buy them in bulk, and using that particular square tip bit, drive that screw into and hold that joint together. It allows the glue to set up as well as holding it together. I've used it to butt tabletop joints together, as well as holding face plates, like for the face frame of a cabinet together. And it's also allowed me to attach the face frame to the front of the cabinet. Also allows me to hold the cabinet top and sides together. Has really changed the way that I build. This is a more portable jig. This is a more stationary jig. Now, I haven't sprung for the big high dollar, do several holes all at once. They also have that available. These are by Kreg, which is known for their jigs. There are a host of plans that you can get at Kreg.com. I'll have a link to both of these in the description. The circular saw. Whether you're looking for the convenience of a battery-powered cordless circular saw, or you're looking for the vroom vroom staying power of a corded circular saw, if you want to make a straight cut with a handheld tool, it's going to be a circular saw. Sure, you can use a hand saw, or you can use a jigsaw, but you're not going to get the straight cut that you're going to get with a circular saw. The circular saw utilizes a spinning blade at serious revolutions with a seriously sharp blade. You can even do various angles or depths. You could just set the depth that you want to cut and lock it in at that depth. You can also adjust the angle of it. So if you want to make an angled cut, you can do it that way. Comes in really handy. Set it back to 0, and now I've got a 90-degree cut. I go to it all the time, whether I'm cross-cutting 2x4s or 2x8s, or if I'm ripping a big sheet of plywood. And speaking of the circular saw and making straight cuts, the saw guide. This saw guide from Swanson allows me to use either one piece for a 48-inch cut, or the two tracks together. They feed in together and allow me to make a 96-inch cut. This allows me to clamp down this straight edge to my 4x8 sheet of plywood and make one long rip cut. I then run my circular saw alongside the saw guide for a truly straight cut. This has saved me so much pain and heartache and stiff backs from having to hoist a 4x8 sheet of plywood up onto the table saw. And if you ever had to hoist a 4x8 sheet of plywood, particularly marine or 3 1/4 inch, up onto the table saw, it's a lot easier to use this. This is the Swanson Saw Guide. Now, sure, you can use track saws. They're on the market and they're very popular. They're very appealing. But you could spend upwards of $600 to $800 for a track saw, whereas this is going to be a fraction of the cost. The drill driver impact driver combo. I don't know if I'm going to keep those separate or together because they're commonly sold together. This is the drill driver and impact driver combo set. Mine came with 2 batteries, a charger, and a nice canvas bag. Now, the impact driver allows you to quickly change bits. So you just slap in the bit that you need, and with the collar chuck, quick and easy. You just release that, pop it in there, and you're ready to go, ready to drive some screws. And particularly, if you look at the front of that, I don't know, can you tell? Oh, this is lighted, by the way. This has got a Torx star-shaped bit on there. More stable and more functional than the traditional Phillips bit. Phillips head screws are going to strip out more easily than this Torx style. Like I said, you can trickily just release the chuck and move on to the next bit. But they sell them together because this allows you to drill your pilot holes, slap in the right size bit for the size of screws that you're using, Usually 1/8 of an inch bit will work great for your screws. Tighten that down, and you saw how long it took me to put in a bit. You don't want to be constantly switching back and forth to take out the drill bit and put in the screw tip bit. So you have the drill driver, which gives you the added torque with the impact. And having each, the drill driver and the impact driver, allows you to quickly drill your pilot holes and drive the screw home without having to switch the bits, change back and forth, back and forth, back and forth between the bits, the drill bit and the driver. But the impact driver gives you the added oomph to focus and drive down, impacting into the screw head so you don't lose that traction and end up stripping that screw head. I use these all the time, especially in deck building projects. You just drill your pilot hole, drive your screw. Drill your pilot hole, drive your screw. Or if you need that to get that wall cabinet hung quickly, drive that pilot hole, drive that screw. The compound miter saw. Now, truth be told, I'm underutilizing my compound miter saw. This is the Bosch GCM 12SD. Now, a buddy of mine saw the way I was using my dad's old chop saw, and he said, frankly, I'm afraid you're gonna lose a finger. And so he pointed me to this one. This is the same one that he uses. And it's like when you first buy a car, you realize how many other people have the same car. Since I made this purchase, I've realized just how many other folks are using the Bosch GCM 12SD. I haven't maxed it out, but I still have all 10 digits. And that's the most important part of it. It allows me to quickly change the angle of the cut, as well as I can change the angle of the blade, and it locks in position. Tighten that down, and now we're back at 90 degrees. And being that I set it in the workbench, whenever I need to make a number of cuts all the same length, I take my stop block and I just measure where it needs to go from the distance from the blade out to where it needs to go, and drive my stop block right into the workbench. Now every cut that I need to make, I put it right there. It's gonna stop, and that's gonna be where my cut is. The Orbital Sander. I've been doing so much staining and varnishing and urethaning this go-round in the last year that the Orbital Sander has saved me lots of headaches and lots of arduous back and forth erasing of sanding marks. The Orbital Sander allows you to put in varying degrees. This is 400 grit. So I have a set here from 60 grit all the way up to 600 grit. I can just quickly swap out the previous grit and slap in the next grit that I need to use. From 60, which starts at the bare bones, all the way up to 600, which is urethane ready. It allows me to hook up a vacuum line, and it is also variable speed. I've used this on cabinets, I've used it for tabletops, I've used it for tables, end tables, nightstands. I used it for the bed that I made. I mostly use it on bare wood that I'm just gonna stain in urethane, but I can use it, and I think I've used it for 1 or 2 projects that I've actually put paint over, furniture paint. It gives me the nice, smooth finish. And so what I do is a sand, coat of urethane, sand, coat of urethane, and that finishes up. So at the end, I have 3 coats of urethane with sanding in between. This one is the Orbital Sander from Bosch. So there you go. Did I cover all of your 7 go-to woodworking tools for this year? If I didn't, please drop them in the comments below what your list looks like. If I missed one, I'd love to find out and explore what your go-to tools are. I'm Eddie Field with Field Guided DIY. Thanks so much for watching. If you want to see a particular project that I use one of these or all of these tools on, stick around and click the image on the screen now. I'll see you in the next video.